Yverdon, Switzerland, 1815. The air in the classroom was thick with the scent of old parchment and cooling wax. 15-year-old Rivail stood perfectly still at the edge of the room. His fingers traced the worn, jagged grain of the wooden desk, a silent witness to years of rigorous study. At the front, the great educator Pestalozzi finished his final lesson. His voice, once a thunderous force of enlightenment, now echoed softly against the cold stone walls.
As the other students dispersed into the corridors, a heavy, suffocating silence settled over the room.
Rivail did not move. From the safety of the shadows, he watched Pestalozzi pack his satchel with hands that visibly trembled. The master stopped suddenly, his gaze fixed on a single flickering candlelight. His shoulders, usually square and firm, slumped under the weight of an invisible, crushing burden. In this moment, there was no brilliance in his eyes, only the hollow, aching fatigue of a man who had given everything to the world. Rivail observed in silence, seeing the human frailty behind the legendary teacher who had taught a generation how to think. The master slumped into his heavy chair and buried his weary face in his hands. Rivail watched as he reached for a leather-bound book, his fingers searching for comfort in the familiar ink. He opened it, scanned a page, and then suddenly snapped it shut with a sharp crack that echoed like a gunshot. He tossed it aside with a long, shuddering sigh of frustration. Pestalozzi stood and began to pace the small room, his footsteps heavy and uneven. He stopped at the window, staring out into the pitch-black night where the Swiss mountains vanished into gloom. In that light, he did not look like a world-renowned educator. He looked like a man lost in a dense, trackless forest, searching desperately for a path that simply did not exist. Rivail felt a sudden, piercing chill. The very foundation of his world shifted beneath his feet. He realized, in a flash of terrifying clarity, that if the master did not hold the keys to all truths, then the ultimate answers were not contained in the ink or the parchment of their library. The doubt consuming Pestalozzi was not a sign of failure. It was a mirror reflecting the vastness of the unknown. Rivail turned and walked toward the heavy oak door. He paused for a heartbeat, glancing back one last time at the solitary figure standing in the dark. As he stepped out into the biting cold of the night air, he saw the path ahead was dark and unmarked. He tightened his coat against the wind and began to walk with a new purpose. He knew now that his education had not ended. It was only just beginning.